Hello. So under the topic corrosion in various medium, in this discussion, I'm going to talk on corrosion in concrete. So what do we understand by corrosion in concrete? So it's a kind of degradation of steel structure when it is inside the concrete. So degradation of steel reinforced structure is corrosion damage to the rebar embedded in the concrete. So the first question is, what do we understand by the concrete? And if we understand the concrete and concrete composition, then we may think what kind of corrosion is happening there and how it can be suppressed, or how the corrosion rate can be slowed down, or how we can control the corrosion. So concrete is basically a complex composite material which consists cement, water, fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, and some other additives, and in which cement particularly is a mix of several anhydrous oxide. For example, standard cement consists mainly of the following compound in order of decreasing weight percent: 3 CaOSiO2, then 2 CaOSiO2, then 3 CaOAl2O3, and 4 CaOL2O3 Fe2. O3 kind of composition is present in concrete. And the cement paste, or you can see the concrete, which is basically surrounded by which is basically cover a steel structure. It's not very continuous. And if you're talking about the microscopic scale, it has the pores. So whatever concrete structure we have, that is not a solid structure or continuous structure. It has some small pores, and in that pores generally water or some air or mix of ionic solution with water is used to present there, and therefore we call this pore as a capillary pore, which is present in the concrete mix. So the concrete is a porous material, and it is the porosity that allows the ingress of corrosive species in embedded reinforcing steel. Means, since the concrete is not a solid structure, it has pores, and through this pore there is a possibility that corrosive species, maybe it's air, water, humidity, or some other ionic content, can reach to the steel reinforcement or steel structure, and then later on it can cause for a corrosion. Water, carbon dioxide, corrosive ions such as chlorine can enter the concrete through this pore and produce detrimental effect at the level of reinforcing steel. Here we can see what kind of corrosion are possible in concrete. So it can be divided into two types. One is generalized or the uniform corrosion. We also call it carbonation of steel, or this steel reinforcement. Similarly, the other type is localized, and in which it can be divided into two categories: chlorides as well as stress corrosion crack. Here if you see the figure 2A, represent there is a overall corrosion in steel bar. Here you see it's localized or very specific structure damage. Here you can see structure look like the same, but these cracks are there. That is basically due to the stress corrosion cracking. So these three kind of corrosion is usually happen when a steel bar is inside the concrete. So in general, if carbonation is happening, then the localized pH is usually reduced, while if localized corrosion is there, then due to the presence of chloride ions, it breaks the passive layer, the protective layer. Generally, uh, its natural passive layer is there, oxide layer is there in steel or in iron structure, and that protect from the corrosion. But if chloride ions are there, then they attack on the surface, and then in some spaces or some localized places it damages the passive film, and then we observe the localized corrosion. So concrete is very dry. If concrete is very dry, carbonation is not feasible due to the lack of water for reaction to be produced. So if we are having a very dry concrete structure, then the carbonation process is not so easily possible. But if it is having very high content of water, means if relative humidity reach in the range of 50% to 70%, then there is a chance to have a generalized or carbonation reaction. So carbonization induces a generalized corrosion. Basically chloride based reaction induce a localized corrosion, and stress corrosion cracking is happening due to pre-stressing or post-tension structure. Let's say understand more about the carbonation process in concrete structure. So let's say if CO2 is almost 0.03% to 0.1%, and it react with the alkalinity of the cement phases to give CaCO2 as the main reaction product. Which means if carbon is there and it react with the water, then it form this kind of oxide CaCO3 as a corrosion product. And when this process happened, then the pH of that particular area is pore, you can say, because the pore is having the excess of CO2 as well as water. So it reduced from pH 13 to pH 8. And at this pH level, the passive layer of steel disappear. Once the pH level, see what happened beginning, CO2 react with water, form this CaCO2, CO3. At that time, due to this reaction, pH reached to the pH level 8. And when it reached to pH level 8, due to this pH level, the passive film is disappeared or destroyed, and we observe the general or uniform corrosion. How it is happening, what kind of mechanism is involved there, we can understand here. So the CO2 as a gas penetrates through pore network of the concrete. So since we know the pores are there, so through the pores CO2 can reach to the steel structure. If pores are filled with water, the gas dissolves in liquid water and the penetration is then very slow. But so if we are having very dry structure, so then CO2 can easily reach inside the steel bar. So see, it's a kind of optimum. See, if there is no water, then even CO2 reach there, but there is no reaction component. So again, it not be very dangerous. But in the other way around, if it's full of water, then CO2 even cannot reach there. So if process is in between, CO2 can reach inside the there and water is also available, some content of water, then this is more dangerous case, and then we can observe the uniform or carbonation of this kind of steel reinforce. If the pores are not saturated with water, then CO2 can easily penetrate by diffusion and reach internal part of the concrete cover. This is the reaction, like CO2 react with water, it forms CO3 and then 2H plus, and this 2H plus ion basically reduce the pH value of the capillary. And you can see here what kind of other reaction is possible. CO3H or NaOH, and then it form this kind of chemical component. So here the diagram shows like what when the relative humidity is low, when the relative humidity is high, and even when the system is saturated. So you can see the degree of saturation of concrete pore, figure A, B and C. So figure A says CO2 can easily penetrate because there is no very less amount of water present there, but the lack of moisture avoid carbonation. So carbonation is not very possible because this is the dry system. The pH value, this humidity value is very low. In the second case, optimum moisture content for carbonation. So here carbonation, the maximum amount or the optimum amount of water is available, and same time it is also allow the CO2 to reach to the site, and therefore the carbonation is possible. But in the third case, CO2 penetration very slow when dissolving in the water, through water, then this structure is also not easily go for this kind of carbonation. So here we can understand if very low relative humidity or if it's saturated, in both the cases the carbonation will be slow as compared to the third case, optimum value. So how we can basically slow down the carbonation process? There are a few points. The first point, increase the concrete cover of the reinforcement. Means we can increase the thickness of the concrete so that the capillary action will be less, like the penetration of CO2 will not be that much possible because the thickness is high. So maybe the though it's porous, but then maybe the one capillary will be cancelled out with the other solid structure, and then there is a relatively lesser chance to have the CO2 penetration. Second point is decrease the permeability of concrete, means low water to cement ratio, sufficient curing with high CaOH2 content of the cement. So the idea is if we are having less water to cement ratio, means if we are using very much, we are using high amount of water, and when it dried, it generally create the pores in the concrete structure. So during the construction, if we are using a high amount of water, not optimum, it's basically higher amount, then there is a more chance to have the capillaries, and then later on they can create this kind of issues. At the same time, the curing, let's say the structure is done, and then later on if we are doing continuous curing, so then the water will go inside the this kind of capillaries and these kind of pores. So even this is the case of saturation. So if second case can be also useful, like if you are doing a lot of curing of this structure, then also it is good, or it will reduce the carbonation process. Third, increase water content of the pore. Water saturated concrete cannot carbonate. So by just curing or some other mean, we can just saturate the, decrease CO2 content of the surrounding atmosphere. So it depends at where that structure is. So if, so that is of course if CO2 is decreases, the amount of CO2 is lesser, then the reaction will be slow. Now the second point is when we are talking about localized corrosion. So we are considering the chloride attack. So from where we are getting the chloride in the concrete? So either it is introduced in the mixing material, because you know we are having a lot of component when we are preparing the concrete, and in that component there is a possibility we may have a mix of some chlorine. Even simply sometimes we use kind of polymer based pipes or fittings which are also embedded in the concrete, and then can also during the processing it may release some kind of chlorine. So it could be different source. Similarly, maybe from outside also, the penetrate from outside dissolve in the pore solution. What is happening when chlorine is present in this structure? So chloride provoke a local disruption of the passive layer, leading to localized attack. So basically localize, it break that passive layer, and then we see the attack. The distribution is due to the localized acidification induced by the proton liberated from the formation of iron hydroxide. So basically it create a kind of extra protons or H plus ions that reduce the pH value. We can say it's create the acidification or high acidity at that particular point, and therefore that contact is going to have a damage, or that surface is damaged, and then slowly it create that localized damage. That therefore we can say it's chloride attack. And let's say if you have iron plus 2 and 2s, let's say the water is present there, then it may form FeOS2 and then H plus ion, and this again reduce the your pH value. So here you can see one image, localized attack due to the chloride. You can see this spot which is more uh, basically having a higher reactivity of chlorine, and you can see these are the localized attack. So see how much chlorine is required to initiate this kind of reaction. So we can say a certain amount of chloride reached to the steel surface required to develop attack, known as the chloride threshold. So that is not certain. It depend upon the structure, and it's depend upon the what kind of steel structure is there, and as well as what kind of humidity level and all other levels are, you can say the atmosphere is there. Based on that, we can say what is the minimum amount of chlorine is required to initiate the chlorine attack. So we can say threshold value depend upon these parameters, like what kind of cement is there, maybe many like fineness, CA3 of cement, SO3 content. Similarly, presence of blending agent and their composition, curing and compaction, whether how long or what kind of curing was done, compaction was done, moisture content in concrete, steel type and surface finishing. So all these parameters basically affect the chlorine. So you cannot say like this much percentage or this much amount of chlorine is will be sufficient to initiate this kind of attack. It will depend upon many variety of parameters. So if we are thinking about chlorine based attack, then we have to consider all these parameters in a concrete structure. Local oxygen availability. Then third part is stress corrosion cracking. Shortly we say SSC, is a particular case of localized corrosion. So here if we are having any kind of stress, whether it's a pre-stress or during the use, if there's any stress, see like in the beam you are having some kind of beam where you are having some load. So there's already stress, it's loaded, or maybe the roof, so you are having some load. So that our structure is having some kind of stress, and now if there is a chlorine attack or some other kind of degradation is happening, and due to that stress, maybe it can initiate some kind of cracking. So then we can say it's a stress corrosion cracking. Let's understand it further. So under stress, right, the process start with nucleation of micro crack at the surface of the steel. So at the beginning, if stress is there, then generally surface get the cracks. Then slowly one of the crack may progress to a certain depth. So initially it was at the surface, then slowly it penetrated inside the depth, result in a high crack velocity, due to which the wire or the bar break in a brittle manner in a relatively short time. So then if many times we observe like there is a failure of structure, सब कुछ गिर गया. So that means this is due to the kind of stress corrosion cracking. Earlier the crack was there, but then suddenly it happened very sudden, and then its failure of the structure is happened. So here nucleation can start in a surface non-homogeneously also, and spot of the rust or inside a pit anywhere. If let's say uniform corrosion is there, then again some kind of cracking is inside. So it's even very difficult to observe or understand like what kind of cracking is there. Progression is enhanced by the generation of atomic hydrogen at the bottom of the crack. So depend upon how much hydrogen is generated, based on that the progression is depends. Like initially it happen at the surface only, but how it will progress through the structure or inside the structure, that depend upon also on the atomic number of, or the basically generation of atomic hydrogen. Here, if you want to diagnose, then microscopic examination of the fracture surface in order to identify the brittle fracture is required. So it's a little bit tricky. We have to do the microscopic analysis. And this process is basically a time dependent process. So time dependent state, what we can say, we can divide into the three category. The depassivation means when we are having, let's say the top surface is depassivated, the passivation layer is destroyed, and then a small crack is formed at the surface. Then propagation is propagated through the structure, and then final stage means just about to failure. This figure may give an idea, like this is initial period. Here if you see the x and y axis, x axis is telling about the time, lifetime. So this beginning is the initial period, and then you can say after this period it will start the depassivation means distortion of the passive layer is started, and formation of small cracks are also there, and then it propagate further. If you see the steady state, slowly it propagate means getting inside, and then sometime at somewhere it will fracture. So that is, you can say, the final stage. So how it is happening, maybe you can understand by looking this structural service life and limit states. So first point is depassivation of the reinforcement. First, basically we have that time when its surface layer is destroyed. Second, formation of crack, and cracks are formed, that is our initial period. Then our degradation period, spalling of the concrete cover, it's just removing of the concrete cover, then collapse of the structure through bond failure or the reduction of the cross section of the local bearing reinforcement. So this is the last stage or final stage. So that is all about on corrosion in concrete. It was very brief because we are just trying to understand the basic fundamentals about this corrosion in concrete, not in very detail. And in next discussion, I will come with another medium. Thank you very much.